everyone, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I am giving you a tutorial of the dynamic die set. And as you can see from the snippet here, it is absolutely amazing. I'm really excited to share this tutorial with you. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to introduce you to the dynamic die set. So it comes with this 4x4 frame die, which is going to be the main focal point of your page. Plus it comes with this arrow looking die, and this is so you can cut paper or photos to easily go into those four corners there versus rolling the whole die all the way through. It also comes with these 4 mini triangle die to help you fill those little triangles easier. This set also comes with this 2x4 die and also this 1x4 die, and together they make this unique shape. It'll make an amazing design for your layout. It also comes with a layering die that can go in the center of your 4x4 die. Plus, if you turn it, it can also be a diamond that'll go into that space right there. And I will be showing you how you can do that today. So altogether, this set comes with 6 different dies. So that's quite a bit. All right, now I'm going to show you how you can create a page with these dies. So first I am cutting with the 4x4 dynamic die, and you want to place your paper on top. Every die machine is going to be different, so make sure you look at the manufacturer's instructions because your sandwich may look different from mine. And as you see, all the elements popped out really well, and you want to save that frame piece. So for the frame, you don't need to save the inside parts, just that frame piece that pops out of the die itself. I'm going to do the same thing here with the 2x4 die, and you're actually going to cut with this die 4 times versus the 4x4 you're only going to cut once. All right, and again, you want to save this frame piece because later, if you don't have that piece, it's going to be really hard to line up your photos correctly. And now I'm cutting with the 1x4 dynamic die. I'm rolling it through. I'll also be cutting with this one 4 times, and again, I'm saving that frame piece. Once all your frame pieces are cut, you will want to start gluing them down to add them on top of your grid paper. Right now I grabbed a piece of cardstock just so I don't get any glue on my table or on the grid paper itself. And these dies are very thin, just so you know, so you want to put the glue on carefully, and you can see how I'm kind of turning my glue dispenser a little bit and just pretty much just patting the glue around the die rather than rolling it on. Rolling it on may cause your die to bend, so we don't want that obviously, because then you'll have a crease in your die cut. And then you want to carefully put it on the grid paper, so you want to line it up in that left corner of where you want to place it, and then make sure that top line and the left line are completely covered. I'll show it again with this 2x4 die. And as you can see here, I'm putting the glue down. This is the Herma Dotto Dispenser. It is our favorite glue. It lasts a long time. We've had pages that are over 15 years old, and the pages have lasted really well. All right, as you can see, I'm carefully placing this die on that top line, again on the left. The smaller dies are easier to put down than the 4x4 one, because I think there's less space for it to get distorted. If you're having trouble laying these dies down on the grid paper and finding they're getting a bit warped or bent easier, you can always use the basic die set and cut some background pieces that are the same size to give it a stronger base. So some of you may need to do that, especially if you're a new beginner at Mosaic Moments. So right now I'm going to add the rest of my frame pieces, and basically I'm going to have the 2x4 die circle around the 4x4 dynamic die, and then the 1x4 is going to go at the very end, so you're basically repeating the same pattern you did right before. Alright, so pretty easy. Take your time, make sure those frame pieces are lined up on the grid, and make sure they're not warped. But, you know, if you mess up like I did here, you can always pick it up and readjust as needed. That's why the repositionable glue is highly recommended in case you need to make those adjustments. And in the end, your pattern should look like this. The next step is to fill in your design with either pattern paper or photos. And for today's page, I am going to use pattern paper. I'm starting out with the 1x4 dynamic die. So my pattern paper has little images on it, and they could easily be upside down or sideways. So I do have my 1x4 die placed on my paper in a specific direction going vertically, and I have that little triangle piece on the left side, so that way my pattern paper won't look upside down on my final layout. So you can see here how it's going to fill that space in. And so it's nice to have your entire page, all the frame parts on your entire page down first. So that way when you go cut the other elements, you know which direction you need to cut everything. For the 2x4 die, which I have here, I only need the top and the bottom space. So you just need those two, and you can discard the middle piece. Or if you want to use that, you can use that as well. So I have the top and the bottom here. And again, I made sure that die was vertical on my pattern paper. Now, if you're using a solid piece of cardstock or you have a pattern paper, it doesn't matter what direction you put it. Of course, you don't have to worry about the direction the die is going. Now I'm using this little arrow looking die. As you can see, again, you want to use either your die or the die 4x4 die cut as a reference to know which direction you need this corner die to go on your pattern paper. So, your design again won't look sideways or upside down. And I do recommend using washi tape. Again, it depends on your paper. If it doesn't matter if it slides off a little bit or gets off a little bit, don't worry about it. Or you may actually want the washi tape on so your paper won't shift away from your die and then your cut ends up being off or something. So take your time. Again, I'm using washi tape to keep that die in place on my paper. And I'm paying attention to which way I need to have this arrow looking die pointed. So that way when I put it on my 4x4 die here, that paper is going the direction I want it to. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing this until my entire 4x4, the corners of the 4x4 die are filled. Now I'm going to add these pieces to my grid, and as you see, you just glue on the back of each piece, or you can even glue directly on the grid paper, and you just stick the pieces within the parts of the frame you want to fill. And sometimes these frame pieces, like this 1x4 die, it can get a little bit warped. So I'm readjusting the paper. Sometimes you get a little bit of a gap. Maybe you can see that in the video here. And so I'm going to add some extra glue down to really stick that frame down so there's not a gap there. So there may need to be adjustments. And sometimes that's why I like creating base pieces with the basic die set first, because then you get less of a warped look, in my opinion. So if you did glue the frames directly on the grid paper, you may need to readjust, because these frames, because they're so thin, can get warped. But in the end, you should have a result like this, where your pattern paper fits within the frames and makes a very nice design. I'm going to go ahead here and fill in the rest. I just want to show you how I'm cutting it. I'm going ahead and putting the glue directly on the grid paper just to speed things up. So yeah, I am taking my time and making sure that my pattern paper is being cut in the direction I want. So with this 1x4 die, it's horizontal and the triangle is facing down. So definitely, that's another reason to take your time, is to make sure, if you're using pattern paper, that your die is in the direction you want to cut for your page. Alright, so I have these two pieces here. I have another 1x4 die to go. So you may have noticed throughout this video that whenever I put the die in the machine, that my die is placed at an angle rather than putting it straight through. And this is because the die machines, they're able to cut because they put a lot of pressure on the die. And we find that putting the die at an angle distributes that pressure much better. And so we find that it gives it a cleaner and better cut overall, versus if I just shove the die in all the way or straight through. So that's one piece of advice we give everyone. Now I'm going to cut all of my photographs. So this first one's easy. I brought out the 4x4 dynamic die again to get the center portion of the die. So really you just put it through the machine as usual, and then you're just going to keep that square cut and you're finished. So this one is pretty easy. You just got to get that cut, as I just did now. And this time I'm going to show you a neat technique with this set is getting that diamond cut. So you're going to use that square die in the set and you're going to turn it so it looks like a diamond over your photograph. And I do recommend using washi tape so that die doesn't shift around in the machine. And you want to take your time, make sure that diamond is as straight as possible. There's no frame to let you know if it's straight or not really. So take your time and then put your washi tape on when you're ready, and then you can roll it through the machine. And I'm going to be doing this 3 more times to fill in my space. All right, next I'm going to add the photographs. So here's this center one. And now I'm going to add the diamond. So basically you're going to just add it right on top of this section like this. So you are covering up those frame pieces. So if you do want those frame pieces to show, you would cut your photograph with the 2x4 and 1x4 dies, or I suppose you could try cutting the photograph and try to lay the dies on top. I have not tried that yet. I'll have to let you know in another video how to work that out. But for now, what's really cool about the dynamic die set is making these diamond-shaped photographs to lay on your design like this. It makes a really neat design. Alright, so that part, the hard part's done, and now I'm just going to fill in the rest of the space. These were cut with the 3x3 die in set A. You can get that in the basic bundle. So I decided to just make the rest of my page a very simple design. Alright, now I'm finished with my layout. Alright, this completes today's demo. If you enjoyed the dynamic die set, let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can be updated on future tutorials. I'm sure we're going to do another one on the dynamic die set pretty soon. And when new dies come, we try to put out a new video for those, so you don't want to miss out. Definitely hit that subscribe button so you can be updated on all of those upcoming tutorials. Anyway, I hope you had fun watching this demo of the dynamic die set, and I'll see you next time.